Right. Again, welcome to the Safe Routes to School Academy. This is week 1. We are going to I'll just do a couple of ground setting items and then we'll do a round of just introductions, as it's great to know everyone on the call. And one of the purposes of this academy is to network and know what other great work is taking place across the state with Safe Routes to School. So just a couple of ground setting items. This is how the agenda is going to look today, and it is very similar every week, so you kind of know what to expect. We'll do a warm welcome and introductions. Today we'll have the overview of what the Academy is. Why did Kelly and I create all these slides and all this information to send it out to you all, and what is the benefit of you attending? We'll talk about the foundation of Safe Routes to School. We always will have a local highlight story, either a really cool project that took place or a resource to share, so forth. And then there will always be a call to action. Think of this as like a little homework assignment before next week. It shouldn't take you too long, but it really is to support you continuing to think about safe routes after this call is done. So again, the purpose of the Academy, hopefully one of the reasons why you joined, is really just to bring us all together and think through safe routes to school. How do we expand the knowledge, share our resources, and strengthen that collaboration and that network that we have so strongly across the whole state? Anyone was invited to join the Academy. I know there'll be a lot of educators on the call. They might have local organizations. I don't know if any students are on the call. I think maybe Kelly, that'll be a goal for next time, is to get some students on here. Community advocates, and then either local, city, county, RDOs, and so forth as well. It'll be weekly virtual meetings as you are today, and then there'll be communication sent as a follow-up within the next couple days of that recording and the call to action. Some benefits. It's free, which is always a great benefit. The only cost is your time, and we are very appreciative of that. This is, again, designed to help either launch partners into Safe Routes to School. I see a couple names on here that have a really strong foundation of Safe Routes to School. So if it is either just a reminder or let's connect with more partners, hopefully you can get something from this academy. Building that, again, that foundation, we have a lot of resources, a lot of links, a lot of go check this out, or have you thought of this? And this is just kind of that, again, grounding place to really talk through all of that. We also know this, the program is most successful or really helpful when there's different funding opportunities, implementation, sustainability, and partnership. So we talk through kind of how do we address that, again, in the current landscape and how we've done it in the past and moving forward. And then we just shared some options of opportunities that you all can receive support. We are a 4-person team at the moment, so the support is kind of hard to give across the whole state, but the fact that you guys are taking the time to do this academy, we will prioritize if you have requests of, hey, can you come help us do a walk audit, or can you help us create suggested walking maps for school, or we're doing an action planning, or anything else that has been identified within your community. We are willing to prioritize your requests as you are taking the time to spend with us. So as you have received in all the communications, here's the topics we cover. If you're familiar with Safe Routes to School, we have 6 E's. Those 6 E's are here, in addition to foundations that we're talking about today. So really, what is the program? In addition, we added 2, including implementation of Safe Routes to School. We can do a lot of the planning. And as you may know, MnDOT loves a good plan. But after that plan, how can we implement it? How can we make it sustainable? How can we have our partners have that buy-in and leverage those resources? So these are the topics we'll cover each week. And while we were creating these, I feel like Kelly and I were like, oh, this is the main topic we love. And the next week we're like, oh, wait, this is the one we love the most. So each week, I hope you enjoy the content as much as we did creating it. And then going forward, what does this look like? So we're hopefully building community, building capacity, expanding our knowledge, resource sharing. Yes, Kelly and I and Phoebe and Riley, when they join, know the program, but you all know the program as well. So if there's anything that we miss, if anything, resources that you want to share, please come off mute or put it in the chat. as we're only as successful as we all do this together. Implementing event days, launching a program if you're new to this, promotion of how to really even do this, guidance for policies, grant writing, finding that funding options, and then really supporting that education with walk bike fun trainings, the new On My Way that we'll chat through, and so forth. So with that, if anyone wants to come off mute or put in the chat, we just had a question of what are your goals for this academy? Is there any specific reason why you signed up for these 8 weeks other than just to hang out with Kelly and I, or anything else?
Yeah, I joined.
Yeah.
It's this Gianni. I'm with District Council 1. And I joined just to get a little more background on safe routes. I've seen it, I've tried to interact with it, and its success has been not so great. So that's why I'm here.
We're happy you're here.
Yes, I appreciate you putting this on.
Of course. Anyone else? Kelly put in the chat, Kelly Johnson, to learn about other projects and how to implement them. Yes, we will be sharing all those great ideas. Kristen needed spend some time refreshing on the E's. Yes, there's a lot of them, 6 of them. So really understanding what that looks like in a successful implementation approach. New to transportation, wanted to see how that's about. Missed a few from the last cohort. Thanks for being on, Luke. Joined the city, starting Safe Routes and Roads for All plan, which includes Safe Routes to School. Yep, we'll be chatting about that. Samantha, our April network call, we're actually talking about complete streets. So if you maybe want to join that network call, just a note. Nicole, Injury Prevention Coordinator, Safe Routes for All, wanting to learn how to support that in Rochester. Nicole, also Kelly is located in Rochester. So if you need any other local knowledge or brainstorming, she's there. Great. Okay, we're gonna do this quick. I know there's 26 of us on this call. Love that for us. But we're gonna do a quick round of like hellos. How are you? What's your name? Where are you from? So the quickest way we're gonna do this is if on the top of your screen there is, I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. There is a raised hand button. If you want to click that raised hand button, we will just go based on that number of when it's your turn to raise your hand and chat. So I'll go first since I'm already off mute, and then I'll pass it to Kelly. So Sophie Kalo, Safe Routes to School Planner with MnDOT. Been with MnDOT for a couple years now. Prior to that, I was in local public health implementing SHIP Safe Routes to School. So I've been around for a while doing it. Kelly?
Perfect. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kelly Corbin, she, her. I am the Safe Routes to School coordinator here at MnDOT. I have a background in public health and worked at a local and state level on safe routes for about 15 years now. So lots of fun. I'm happy to be a resource for you today and moving forward. And it looks like Kristen is up next.
Morning, Kristen Friedrichs, SHIP coordinator at Nicollet County Public Health in South Central Minnesota.
I guess I'm next. My name is Ndaya Kisongo. I'm a SHIP coordinator as well with Rye County in Buffalo.
Hi everyone, my name is Sam Gallagher, she, her pronouns. I work for the City of Hopkins as an associate planner. Just looking to learn more on transportation planning related to safe routes to school.
Hi, I'm Taylor and I'm with Nobles County SHIP and I'm newer in my role and I've heard a lot about safe routes to school, so I'm just excited to dive in and learn a lot more.
Hi, I'm Tim Finseth. I'm the Transportation Director for the Northwest Regional Development Commission in Warren, and I've been working on safe route plans for about 3 years.
Hi, I'm Diane Davis with Carver County Public Health. Ship Active Living is a new area for me, and I'm interested in learning just the foundational elements, all the its ease, and some how-tos for implementation, how to support the work.
Kevin Newman, Director of Buildings and Grounds for Red Wing Public Schools. Just looking at the spring auditing our schools. I'm newer to the district on our safe routes for our children in the Red Wing area.
Got it. My name's Amani Alam. I am down in Rice County and I'm the ship coordinator down here.
I think it's my turn, but I'm Nicole Klosner and I'm with the East Central Regional Development Commission.
Hi, good morning. I'm Hannah Monum with Countryside Public Health, and I'm a SHIP coordinator here. I'm excited to learn more to better support our partners.
Hi, I'm Nicole Gerton. I am the injury prevention coordinator for the Mayo Clinic Level 1 Adult and Level 1 Pediatric Trauma Centers, and everybody deserves to get where they're going safely. So I'm here for all the adults and all the kids.
Hi, my name is Andy Heil. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Safe Routes to School coordinator for Duluth Public Schools.
Kind of confused on how it's going. So I'm just going to introduce myself. I don't know if anyone can hear me. My name is Ayan. I'm a health educator working with SHIP, and I work at Southwest Health and Human Services.
Sorry, I was struggling to find my unmute button and jump in here. I'm Karina Erickson from Breckenridge Public Schools. I've worked with Safe Routes to School and our Communities Active Living Committee years back, and we were part of that program, and just we're now past the referendum and building a new building and wondering what opportunities there might be moving forward.
Hi, I'm Bianca Newell with West Central Initiative. I'm a planner and I'm pretty new to my position, so I'm just here to learn more about safe routes and the impact it can have.
Hi, everybody. I'm Julian Fernandez-Peterson. I'm a transportation planner with Hennepin County, and I also serve as the Safe Routes to School coordinator for the Hennepin County Transportation Planning Division.
Hi, Mike Schwartz, Mounds View Public Schools.
Good morning, everyone. Chris Webb. I'm the transportation planner for Southwest Regional Development Commission down in Slayton, Minnesota.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Bonilla. I am the SHIP coordinator out at Washington County, and I'm just looking to learn more. I haven't done a Safe Routes to School myself yet, so it's kind of like scary territory.
I hope by the end of this, it's not scary for you, Maria. Did we get everybody? I know there's a few in the chat. Thanks for putting those in. If so, let me share my screen once again. Each of you sharing their background, I'm like, oh, we should have a coffee chat. I want to help and I want to learn more about your work. So glad you're here. All righty. We may skip this just because it is a large group and I wanted to see all of your faces instead of breakout rooms, but we will have more breakout rooms later today for you all to connect in smaller groups. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Kelly. Kelly, I can advance the slides for you.
Perfect.
If you want to, yeah.
Yeah, great. So thanks, everyone. So today we're going to talk foundations. And from what I heard from some folks during your intros is maybe you have some knowledge of safe routes or maybe you're totally brand new to it. So I think there's two things to think about during this is if you're just starting out, this foundations is going to help you get that knowledge of what we're going to be talking about for the next 7 weeks. For those of you who have had some opportunity to dabble in the Safe Routes world, maybe this is an opportunity to learn how to present and communicate and share Safe Routes. So, what are things that you're hearing that I'm saying that you would like to share out with your partners? And we can always share some of the pieces of the slide decks if that's helpful for your upcoming school wellness committees or active living committees or your SHIP leadership team or whatever it may be. So foundations for Safe Routes, next slide, is going to kind of get us at what is the program at MnDOT and where can you get support? And we're currently a team of 4. So you have myself and Sophie who've introduced ourselves, Phoebe, who supports our grants and contracts work. And then we are so lucky to have Riley Friend, our Green Corps member this year, helping us do some of the work on the ground. And next slide. Safe Routes is a federal, it is a national program that has been around since the early 2000s. MnDOT has been receiving funding and conducting infrastructure changes, and the kind of essence of our program that you know it now has really started about 15 years ago when we started doing planning grants in addition to the infrastructure. And then over time, as there's been more evidence base for Safe Routes, the program has grown. And in that time, we've developed a statewide walking and biking curriculum. We've created a Minnesota-based resource center with tools and guidance that has been used by Minnesota locals in rural and urban areas, and kind of meets the demand of what we're hearing. We've expanded our event days to be a winter walk to school day. We've created a visualization tool, which we'll talk about later, that helps to show the history of Safe Routes in the communities around the state. We've done demonstration guides and other kind of design guidance that has been along the way. And in the last few years, we've been really fortunate to be able to have funding to do some grant work. And so that has been in the last 5 years. We've also received state funds to complement the federal funds to do this type of program. So that's kind of a quick story of the evolution of Safe Routes to School. The other piece to this is the MnDOT one, is Safe Routes to School has been a strategy since SHIP began in 2009. And it has been a great complement to the work that everyone is doing through your local public health and transportation planning. Next slide. So we are a program that isn't just the 4 of us thinking what's good to do in the state. We do have a statewide steering committee of local, regional, and statewide partners that help guide our work. In addition to this, we created a strategic plan in 2020 after a year of thousands of hours of engagement with our local partners, from key informant interviews to workshops to surveys to interactive meetups that we had and things like that. And from all that guidance, we've kind of boiled it down into our 6 buckets for our strategic plan to make sure that we're getting resources to where we need them and we're addressing the most pressing needs in our community. And so this academy is kind of hitting some of the goals that we have in the 3 buckets with the arrows. The other thing I want to call it is we updated our vision in 2020 that youth in Minnesota can safely, confidently, and conveniently walk, bike, and roll to school and in daily life. And that in daily life is the new component to it. And it is for us to recognize that we do have a lot of small and rural communities and schools that have been consolidated, and it's just not feasible for kids to walk and bike to and from school. But unfortunately, some of the tragedies that we've had in this state of kids walking and biking hasn't always been to and from school. It has been after school, where they were walking to a grocery store, a gas station, a McDonald's in this case, to get a snack before going back to school for their after school activities. And that is where they were hit by a car and airlifted out. So we want to recognize that kids are walking and biking to school, but kids and their families are moving and walking around the school grounds, whether it's after school for, getting a snack or going, to a job, or, piano practice that isn't involved in the school. There are other places that kids go after school, and we want to make it sure that they are safe while they're doing that. Next slide. So we do have lots of support at a statewide level. We've been really supported by receiving state dollars from our legislature to advance this work, and it is something that they find very valuable. Our governor is willing to provide statewide proclamations for our walk and bike to school days to show their support. The two pictures are our MnDOT commissioners supporting our walk and bike to school days, which getting them into an event is a lot of work. So to have different commissioners there reading walking and biking stories or giving high fives and stickers at a walk and bike to school day, it helps show that support. But also for those of you, it is a strategic way to get them out and seeing what the impact could be and finding value in this work. And on a national level, there are some Safe Routes report cards and rankings, and Minnesota's been fortunate to be ranked in the top 5 for the last number of years. And we are excited to be hosting the Safe Routes to School National Conference in October of next year. So more to come on that, on how to perhaps submit a proposal to speak or get registered and attend. We'd love to have you there. But that is a way to show off all the work that's been happening in the state over the last 15 years. Next slide. So we will be going in depth, as Sophie said, over the 6 E's throughout this series that we have together. And the purpose of the 6 E's is really to provide a wraparound support. In a transportation world, we know that just because we build a thing doesn't mean that people are always going to use the thing. We have to build it. We have to educate people on how to use it safely or navigate around it. And we have to encourage people to go out there and give it a try. Okay, so just because there is a new trail doesn't mean people know about it, doesn't mean people know how to navigate on it. And so that's kind of what this Safe Routes is. So I like to think of it, there are 6 E's, but kind of the core ones would be our engineering, our education, and encouragement. We certainly have evaluation to make sure that we're making the changes we want to see. We're doing engagement to understand the unique barriers of that community. And we're doing equity strategies to make sure if we're making it better for some, we're not making it worse for others. And next slide. And our Safe Routes to School programs look different throughout the state, and it's really where that energy and partnership come from. So we have our statewide steering committee. We do know regions that have a lot of consolidated school districts. They're supporting Safe Routes maybe at a regional approach, or if you're a multi-county community health board or a regional development commission, you're working at a regional level. And local levels can look different too. It can be a district-wide approach. It can just be one school that has a high number of walkers and bikers, and that's where you're focusing. So there is no one size fits all approach. It's a little blended to meet the needs and the strategies that you're going after. So the next slide is probably going to get us into why are we even talking about Safe Routes? And again, for those of you who are more comfortable with this work or kind of get it, this is maybe some other things to kind of jot down in your brain as you're communicating this. And the big thing is that, in the 1960s, we had most kids were walking and biking to school, and only a handful, about 12%, were being driven to school by parents or caregivers. And today it's kind of the opposite, where we see 15% of students walking and biking to school. That number is up from 10 years ago, but it still is only 15%. And nearly half are being driven to school, not riding the school bus, but being driven to school. And what that creates is a lot of congestion on our roadways. And the more cars and congestion out there, the more dangerous it is for all of our roadway users. And then the next slide just shows that morning congestion, 10% of all cars on the roadway are related to school transportation. Sorry, Sophie, next slide.
Sorry, my finger was,
That's
sorry
okay.
about that.
Oh, we're good. We're good. So you're maybe thinking, okay, Safe Routes, I've heard about it. I don't know if it's going to work. What is the evidence base for it? And there certainly are a lot of journal articles, and I'm happy to kind of connect you with those if that's something of interest. But there had been a larger research on the efficacy of Safe Routes to School. And when we do this wraparound approach, that's where we see the most impact. So if we just do education and encouragement strategies, we'll see a 25% increase in walking and biking. If we just build something to make it safer, a new curb extensions, a crosswalk, a trail, a sidewalk, we'll see an 18% increase in walking and biking. But when we do that comprehensive approach, that's where we can see that biggest increase of maybe 31%. So the evidence is there. and we know we can do more. So again, as an agency where our goal is to reduce the carbon emissions from transportation, looking at school transportation is a really important factor for us to see how can we get some of those kids back onto the school bus, and how can we get some kids out of their parent cars walking and biking, or how can we do remote drop-off so we're easing the congestion around school so it is safer for kids to cross as they're walking and biking and getting to school. Next slide. So for those of you that are coming at this from a health perspective, 1 mile of walking each way gets students about 2/3 of their daily recommended minutes of physical activity. So if they're walking to school, walking home from school, and then they're getting a very active recess, very easily they've gotten their 60 minutes of physical activity. Maybe they're not walking to or from school, but the school supports the morning mile or the morning walk around the playground as a safe routes to school strategy so that all students can participate is another way that physical activity can happen. So there's a lot of ways that we can increase that physical activity as well. There's so many different benefits, and this is where you kind of meet your partners and talk to your partners about what is their issue, what is their primary concern, and does that relate to safe routes to school. So I think one right now is, everyone's pocketbook is feeling a little tighter these days, and we did a research project with the School of Public Health at Harvard several years ago, and we found that for a parent or guardian to pick up and drop off their kid to school, kind of the cumulative cost of that is about $1,200 a year. And so that's pretty big chunk of a lot of people's budgets, especially if you are working kind of minimum wage and maybe making that $20,000 to $22,000 a year. $12,000 or $1,200 can really make a difference for you. We know school transportation budgets, the costs are going up, but there's not more reimbursement for school busing and other staff. So many school districts we're seeing are expanding their walk zones because they can't afford to bus everybody. So as these budgets get tighter, we might see an expansion of those walk zones in many schools across the state. There's also the school bus driver shortage, where we're hearing superintendents are driving buses because they just are short-staffed. And that in turn is also causing schools to expand that walk zone simply because they can't provide that school bus transportation. We've also seen things where you get your morning wiggles out and you're ready to sit down and learn. So better academic performance when physical activity has occurred. We'll have healthier students and a lot of other things here. So I'll keep going on to the next slide. All right, back to you, Sophie.
Fun. Yeah. So we're going to do a breakout room. Before we set that up, does anyone have any questions, comments? Give it a moment.
Will we get copies of the slides?
Yes. Both copies of the slides and the recording will come to you.
Thanks.
Yes. Anyone else? All right. Otherwise, we will go to breakout rooms. What we're going to think through is what specific benefits would help your partners connect about this work. So of the ones that we just talked about, is there ones that we could focus on to really connect safe routes to a larger community? And then what would your community look like if Safe Routes to School was successful? Kelly, do you want to do the breakouts or do you want me to?
Let's see. I will do it.
Great. We'll go for about 5 minutes in the breakouts and then come back and talk about program activities.
And it should be pulling you in now. Takes a minute.
Depending on your organization's teams as well, sometimes we have troubles with breakouts. So for Diane and folks at East Central, we can also have a conversation with you as well.
So is it just us, like 4 or 5 right
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm brand new to this, to transportation director. My name's Nicole, and I'm at ECRDC. I took over for Penny Simonson. Do you guys know who that is? Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked with
So,
Penny for a long time.
yeah, I'm brand new, so I'm just here to kind of see, I know a little bit of what she was doing, but see how I can help. And my kids, they go to Pine City. There, I bring them to school, but I see a lot of kids walking on the road and across the street, and some of them are really little, and it scares me. So just kind of here
Yeah.
to see what's going on, and yeah.
Yeah, sure. I believe we did have a Safe Routes to School plan for Pine City a few years back. So, yeah, that's great. We've worked with Penny for numerous years.
Yeah, she was working on it, and then yeah, I think she was trying to do something with it again, but yeah, she just retired like 2 weeks ago. So
Okay. Oh gosh, I knew it was coming up. I didn't know it passed. So that's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Well, thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And as you've been having kind of your onboarding conversations, has like walking and biking come up more broadly? I mean, not just Safe Routes to School, but maybe interest or people looking for funding or new road projects coming up that, will be, a focus for you.
Yeah, and I'm also doing the climate and energy stuff here. So I'm not new to the RDC. I've been here for about 2 years. So yeah, there has been a lot more talk of electric vehicles and biking and walking, carpooling, and then more of the the smart shuttles and stuff. They have ideas for that. But I don't know if any of that is coming to fruition yet. That's Karen in our office. And yeah, so all kinds of stuff we're doing over here. And I'm just trying to keep all these programs going. I've been working with MnDOT quite a bit, but this is more, more close to my heart.
Yeah, it definitely is fun. And we talk about Safe Routes a lot as it's a really good like entry point for thinking about walking and biking, or more of like a multimodal transportation approach. Is, it's where do you start? And if you start around schools and start to build out and you get a good Safe Routes to School, and then it's easier to do that Safe Routes for All or the Safe Routes community wide. So yeah, it is a good starting point.
Yeah.
So if you want me to bring them in at 10:35,
Sure.
Once I close it, I think it takes like another minute or so. Get it going.
Okay. Up to you. If you want to just maybe give it till 10:35, just because I feel like everyone kind of times it and then somebody gets cut off halfway through.
Yeah.
All right. And then you're able to drop the links in for the next portion.
Yep.
We're very rural.
Students were involved. Oh gosh, that was quick.
That was quick.
Was that
Sorry,
5 minutes
everyone.
already?
I feel like you always cut somebody off chatting. So next time we'll make them a little longer. Welcome back. Believe everyone is back. Alrighty. And was there any big takeaways? Anybody want to share anything they chatted about?
I'll just share. This is Diane with Carver County. So kind of we had two different experiences. One was like really driven by the school, that was the Safe Routes to School program and assessment and all of that was driven by a school, and the other one was driven by community. So it's kind of like
you know, I mean, it was just interesting, kind of who's behind it, who's driving who's driving the bus here.
Yeah. And it's different in every community, and there's not a right or a wrong way to do it. I think it's whoever's passionate enough to get those kiddos safely there. Thanks, Diane. Luke put in the chat, sometimes I think it should be called Safe Routes to Communities Grant. I think what we were just chatting with a few folks that stayed in the main one of Safe Routes is really that foundation and an easy way to have a conversation about it, but really the goal is to expand it to make sure that the whole community is walking and bikeable. So Luke, I think you're onto something there. Alrighty, the next slides are really just going to be, we're going to drop some links in the chat and really give an overview of our program activities. The resources that we often refer to if somebody asks us, websites, curriculum, and so forth. So here we go. So the first one is the Walk Bike Fun curriculum. The Walk Bike Fun curriculum was launched in what year, Kelly?
2013.
2013. This was in partnership with MnDOT, Bike Alliance of Minnesota, and Blue Cross Blue Shield. And it really was to address the safety and education that was, there was a gap within the state, and this was going to address it. So there's two portions of it. There's a walking, and then there's the biking portion of it. And the really, really great thing about Walk Bike Fun, and what you will always hear us say, is that it meets the Minnesota Physical Education Standards. So it is not a add-on, but it could be really integrated into PE classes for folks to meet those standards and have another opportunity for how to deliver fun classes for students. The amount of stories and pictures we see of kiddos learning how to ride a bike, experiencing it for the first time and so forth is lovely. So if your community is ever interested in hosting a Walk Bike Fun training, you can always reach out to Angela at BikeMN or Bike Alliance of Minnesota. Those are the same organization. And we can set that up. A few other resources that our team provides. So this is a Kelly, Sophie, Phoebe, and a Riley. Is we offer network calls every month. Each month is a different topic. We can drop the ones for this year. We have a new schedule coming out. And these network calls are a great way to, again, network, hence the name, but get resources, get updates. If we have any funding information or anything like that, that is always up on that network call as well. It's the first Thursday of the month from 10 to 11. And it's just great fun. It's been taking place, I think, for like over a decade. So it's a very great conversation. The other thing that we launched last year that we're continuing this year are office hours. So office hours take place on Tuesdays, every Tuesday from 12 to 1. We get a lot of questions and emails, and we figured this might be an easier way to connect with folks, have some follow-up question, and really answer your questions together. You can hop on at 12, stay on for 2 minutes. You can hop on at 12:50 and stay on for 5 minutes. You do not have to stay on the whole time. We do not have an agenda. We're just there to help you if you have any questions. And it can be from, I have a grant with you all, I need a question, or our community approached us and we have this challenge, how can we work through it together? We also have monthly e-newsletters that go out. These are full of resources and information, so highly recommend you sign up for that. We try not to waste your email inbox space, as we know we get a lot of emails. So we only send when things are helpful for you all to receive. A couple other things, and just wanted to clarify. So we have two websites. We have the MnDOT website, which is more of the overview of the program. That is where our grants live. That's where the newsletters live, and or the contact us newsletter, office hours, and so forth. We also have a resource center website. The resource center website is where all of our guides are, all of our event days are. Any resources that support the implementation of Safe Routes to School is located on the resource center. So I would recommend tagging and favoriting both of those on your browser, as they are helpful. Other technical assistance, you can always email us, hop on a call with us. We're around. We try to develop guides and templates based on community need and interest and requests. So those are up on the Resource Center. Videos and success stories, because you all are doing really, really great work. So if you ever have a really great success story or a picture that you want to share with us, we would love to grab that from you. Okay, 2 other really specific tools that are going to help us shape the call to action for this week. The first one is we have created a Safe Routes to School visualization tool. It is an interactive GIS map. Kelly dropped the link in the chat, and it shows what the programs have done over the past 10 years, including planning assistance. So where are plans taking place in your community? Where has infrastructure been done? Who has received boost grants? Where has trainings taken place? And where have demonstration projects happened? Really all of what we provide or support. So it's a really easy tool to look into a community and say, what's taking place here? And it also shows a really great promotion snapshot of our work. You can see all 4 corners of the state has received support from our Safe Routes program. I guess that'll give us a little kudos to us, but a big kudos to all those communities that are willing to say yes to Safe Routes. The second thing, a second tool that we wanted to highlight is we have a stakeholder tool. So if you are new to Safe Routes to School, or if you are trying to identify what is next in your implementation, the Safe Routes to School or the stakeholder guide is a really great place to just reference. It shows who that key stakeholder might be, what they bring to Safe Routes to School, what is that ask that you can have from them. If you're building a wellness committee, it's a great way to make sure it's a well-rounded wellness committee and so forth. So we'll drop that in the guide or in the chat. We have a few more slides, and then we're going to hop back into breakout rooms to talk through this guide specifically. So more to come. Looking ahead, we just wanted to share that in the next year, we got a lot of things happening. We have event days that take place 3 times a year. We have October Walk and Roll to School Day. We have February Minnesota Winter Walk to School Day. May we have National Bike and Roll to School Day. And then in addition, we decided that we also should do a Crossing Guard Day in February. We support Ruby Ridge's Walk to School Day in November, and then that national conference is coming in October. So a really fun, busy year ahead. So mark your calendars. We hope you all participate in all of it. And then Kelly will drop the useful websites. If you want to just start learning more, thinking through how this work might connect within your role, responsibilities, or just where to, I don't know, look at more examples, these are the websites we often refer people to. So maybe after this, grab a warm beverage and click through some websites. Sounds like a lovely afternoon to me. Okay, with that, we are gonna go back into the breakout rooms. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes because 5 was a little short. And we are going to ask you all to review the guide, and then as a group, identify 1 to 3 folks that you would reach out to really start this conversation about Safe Routes to School in your community. And while you're thinking about it, if there's anyone on the list that you would add that we didn't have on that list, we are open to that. So Kelly is gonna put you back into the rooms, and we will see you back in the large group at 10:55.
I'm dropping in the chat what the question is if you want to copy it, if you forgot last time.
Hi, Taylor. I think you're with us.
Hey.
Which is totally fine. We had another partner the last time, so it's nice to have a new face.
Oh yeah, well, I think like my teams, I don't know, teams never works great for me. So I feel whenever I I have to rejoin after going out into a breakout room. Like it doesn't pull me back.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
We're glad you joined
it's
back
fun
in.
stuff. Yes.
Okay, so we can chat through the stakeholder guide if you would like. Otherwise, if you have any questions or big takeaways of the day, we're happy to chit chat about that too.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. I know like right now in Nobles County, one of the schools is kind of moving into the implementation phase with safe routes. And then another school, we're doing like active transportation plan update and they,
Uh-oh.
I think it moved her into a breakout room. Yeah.
All right. Well, now we can wait. All right, I'm gonna turn my camera off for a few minutes.
Sounds good. All right, I'm gonna hit close rooms because I think it takes about a minute to get them back in here, if that's okay.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all of them.
Okay.
Welcome back, everyone.
Not enough time, Sophie.
Really? You all are just a chatty group. All right, so for next week, we'll just do one that is longer than a couple that are shorter. Feedback received. I know a few folks get kicked out too when they close the breakout rooms and they have to rejoin, so we'll give them a moment. Since there wasn't enough time, Chris, it must have been because you were all chatting. Was there any big takeaway or conversations that you were all having?
I guess this is Luke. I'll go. So it was with the 6Es, and forgive me, Diane. I don't know. Was it you that wasn't sure about the enforcement with why that was removed?
Yeah.
We're just wondering, and I mean, I knew it was removed, but
Great question.
Yeah,
I can
with
take
why.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
So the important thing to remember is with enforcement, it's not that our enforcement partners were removed. It was a shift from strategy of enforcement to engagement, and here's why. We have every few years, we do a plan scan, which is we reach out to communities that have done Safe Routes to School plans to see what's working, what's not, where do we need to support more resources. In the plan scan we did in 2016 and 2019, of all the respondents we had 0 strategies implemented under the enforcement E. But we did have a lot of information about really needing to understand the true barriers of the community, because one community is not like the next. One might have a big fear of stranger danger. One might have a bigger fear of the speed of traffic. So that was kind of based on the plan scan. And then it was a huge discussion on the engagement that we did for the 2020 strategic plan. So at that point, we were shifting from enforcement to engagement, and that's when it happened. I think it did get a little muddied because of the timing of when the shift was happening. It was already going to happen in 2019, but as things happened in 2020, the timing kind of overlapped. So again, we have through our grants, we have funded like speed enforcement trailers or portable signs that have gone around. We still have law enforcement at the table for our planning grants. We have law enforcement supporting our walk bike fun curriculum. We have law enforcement supporting our bike rodeos. We have TZD supporting our Safe Routes to School. So everything does overlay. We're not being exclusionary. It was just a shift in the strategies. And the National Safe Routes to School Partnership has also shifted their strategies as well to mimic these 6 E's. And I do meet monthly with the Safe Routes to School coordinators across the country. And that is a similar approach of all the other states as well. So again, we're not excluding enforcement. They're part of our partners that make up that stakeholder guide, but our 6 strategies are more of what are some of the focus themes that we can do with multiple strategies under it. We still encourage law enforcement to be a partner. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, no, that it does. And I remember when it was kind of being sunsetted, so to speak. I mean, and really, you could use enforcement with all of those other E's too. I mean,
exactly. Yeah, they're strong partners in education and our encouragement strategies.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Luke, for that question. All right, with just a few minutes left, the first one is the local highlights. So today we just wanted to highlight all the work that SHIP does in collaboration with us for Safe Routes to School. Knowing a lot of you on this call are with SHIP, you might find this a little bit more interesting. But this was from a recent infographic that they created, and the impacts of Safe Routes to School specifically on injury prevention, resources, activity, and such. So you can see that it reduces the risk of pedestrian industry. Let me try this again. Pedestrian injury by 44%. improves air quality, gets kids more active, and then there's really that state investment, right? We have annual funds that come through. It can support, and for this year, there was 87 counties and 10 tribal nations that were working in support for Safe Routes to School. During the 21-23 school year, 33 schools were implementing Safe Routes to School, which is amazing. And Safe Routes to School was a strategy of 65% of those local health agencies. So you're all doing the good work across the state. SHIP is a very, very strong partner in our work. So we just want to give it a call out to them and to all of you. Okay, with 1 minute left. The call to action. So again, this is like a moment of a little bit of homework by the next week. Hopefully it's always fun homework, not boring or more work to do. But we do have a call to action. So for this week, and it'll be in the email summary that I'll send you all to. But there's 2 actions. So first of them, we are requesting that you review your community Safe Routes to School plan, or if you're more focused on the active transportation side, the active transportation plan, or the complete streets policy, or whatever plan that is really works within your community, to understand what that current landscape is. We will drop the link again for that visualization tool, so you can see with those plans. You should be able to click right into them and see what those are. The second one is to identify 1 to 2 stakeholders from your community using either that stakeholder guide to get ideas, or you maybe have a to-do list of reaching out to someone that you just have never gotten to yet. So sending an introductory email to reconnect. It doesn't have to be a huge ask. It can just say, can we connect? I would love to learn more. What are you working on? And so forth. So those are the 2 asks that we will check in on by next week. Can you email the plan too? Kelly, you can, if you stay on, you can let us know which plan and we can send you the link to it for sure. And with that, only 1 minute over, which was pretty good. We thank you again for joining. There will be follow-up. I will stop the recording.